It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
This is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. And this week we are in Paisley! The European Commission has ruled that Apple should repay Ireland €13 billion. The Irish Finance Minister has denied that any illegal tax benefits have taken place, although the line was a bit crackly from his office in the Bahamas. A gang stole 100 umbrellas from a shop on the Royal Mile during the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. They're going to look a bit daft in prison. What, you in for, mate? Murder? No, I just can't cope with the drizzle. And a new survey has revealed that almost 1 in 5 parents regret the name they've given their child. But there's no point crying over spilt milk. Although, to be fair, spilt milk was a really stupid name to give to a child. Joining me are, on my left, writer and comedian Janie Godley, and she's joined by journalist and broadcaster Alex Bell. And on my right, writer and comedian Jay Lafferty, and she's joined by stand-up writer and actor Alistair Barry. Now, in this round, the teams have to guess the two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news report. Alex and Janie, can you tell me the two stories mixed together here?
There are growing calls for the former Prime Minister Gordon Brown to
travel to Mexico today for a meeting with
core Labour voters.
Our curbs on immigration are a key policy aim for
Mr Brown,
including building a wall along
the north and east of Scotland over the next couple of days.
Alex Bell, can you tell us what the first story is there?
Gordon Brown's come back yet again from the dead in order to tell us that, what do you know, if we had a few more powers, we'd be a wee bit better off. And now what we're really entering is a game where who gets to claim credit for more powers for Scotland. Gordon Brown hasn't got credit for a great deal for a wee while, and he now wants to sort of say, hey, look, if we got a few more powers, wouldn't that be great? But that's kind of probably where Nicola already is at. So she, a few weeks ago, appointed a minister for Brexit, and what that is really about is, what more powers can we get?
You're absolutely right, yes. Former Prime Minister Gordon Brown calling for a new Home Rule deal for Scotland in the aftermath of the Brexit vote. He's saying that a federal set-up must be adopted for Scotland in the UK. Of course, within the phrase federal set-up is the phrase fed up.
Basically, it's like he's come up with a better divorce package, and we don't need a divorce, but he stepped in and went, right, what we'll do is, if you all try and not get independence and stop asking for it, because you're annoying everybody with that, if you stop asking for it, we'll throw in the caravan at Weemsby, and we might let you get a bike. I'm not very sure.
Speaking on behalf of a lot of people about loving the idea of the caravan at Weemsby being part of this. That's mobile home rule. I'm up for that, Janie. I'm with you.
You brought up again about Scotland having to erect a border between ourselves and England. So if we remain in the EU and England Brexit, so I think we should do that, just so that we can have our own reality TV show of Border Patrol Scotland. Amazing, isn't it? Sorry, missus, you can't take that tablet in. That's not happening.
It's not just Gordon Brown that stepped up and had his say on this. Do we know what Labour leadership hopeful Owen Smith has been saying about the possibility of IndyRef 2?
Anything he can, because in the vague hope that he might say something that might get him elected over Jeremy Corbyn. He has no idea what he's talking about at the moment, in a desperate attempt to try. And Corbyn is going to win, and the Labour Party is going to become even deader in England than it already is in Scotland.
For any Labour voters listening, there is the
There's
hopefulness of Alistair Barry there. Alex Bell, I'm going to ask you to come in on this one.
Owen Smith is a political hologram. He's kind of not really there. You can put your hand through him, you can wave him around, and you think, I don't know, is there a person? Is that not? I don't know. And he said that an IndyRef 2 would be OK by him. But, you know, frankly, Owen Smith can say free love is OK by him. You know, that we will all be millionaires is OK by Owen Smith. That I will one day be a sexy god will be OK by Owen Smith. It's not going to happen. I know that, he knows that, and the audience know that.
Gordon Brown's Home Rule suggestions, that is correct. What is the other story we're after?
It's Donald Trump. Yeah, do you know once he wrote on Twitter that his golf course had a dent in it, and I said, here's an idea, instead of fixing it, why don't you just grow the grass long and comb it over the top of it?
And Janie, do you know where Donald Trump was visiting this week?
He went to Mexico and said that they welcomed him with open arms. Yeah, of course they did. The word arms is another word for guns.
Mr. Trump was in Mexico on Wednesday. He did speak about immigration. He met with the Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto, and he said that they spoke about the wall, but they didn't speak about who was going to pay for it. And then as soon as he left, he went to a rally and said, the Mexicans are going to pay for it.
2 minutes later, as you say, he was literally back in front going, who's going to build the wall? We're going to build the wall. It's a 2,000-mile wall, and no one's just stopped to go, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. I mean, walls have got such a long history of working brilliantly. The Berlin Wall, the wall across the middle of Jerusalem, and he seems to have absolutely no idea, flip-flops in between the two of them, and then in the middle of it gets Nigel Farage to come along and share a stump with him. And I just start to think, you know, you brought Nigel... Well, I mean, Donald Trump comes to Scotland and meets Janie, and then Nigel Farage comes to Scotland and gets kicked out of an Edinburgh pub by a load of people. I think basically Scotland could solve a lot of the world's difficulties by...
It's interesting that so the press were saying that this was his damage limitation tour. It worries me that he's doing a damage limitation tour before he even gets elected, you know, before he's even president. I don't want to see the one that goes on after he's been in power, because it's very difficult to give a sincere apology when you're in a radiation suit.
He says Mexico is ripping off the US almost more than any other nation. So why then go into the heart of your enemy, the country you said the most about?
Because he's got a new campaign manager who's thinking, how can we rescue this campaign? And the standard way of rescuing a campaign is to show that your candidate is nice and fluffy. And only it's obviously a problem when actually you've insulted an entire race. So the attempt to sort of build that bridge, mend that wall, you might say, was to go to Mexico. And the poor campaign manager couldn't have possibly known quite what a balloon she was dealing with. The golden rule is that they have TVs in Mexico too.
Jay and Alistair, 2 stories, 1 clip for you. What do you make of this?
The Prime Minister
has been ordered to pay more than £11 in back taxes to
her cabinet
after the European Commission ruled that
Brexit
was illegal.
She's holding talks at her country retreat
Ireland
to discuss how and when
the technology giant Apple
will exit the European Union.
Jay Lafferty, tell us what you think the first story is.
It's the most controversial bite out of an apple since the Garden of Eden, which I believe was a bit of copyright over the game Snake. So it's... Apple are due to pay Ireland back €13 billion of unpaid tax.
This is exactly the story, yes. The European Commission has ruled that technology giant Apple should pay Ireland up to €13 billion in back taxes. This comes after a 3-year investigation and concluded that the US firm's Irish tax benefits are illegal.
Yeah, this could go up to $19 billion. When you put interest on top of it as well. And there's various people opposed to it, like Michael O'Leary. He chipped in rather beautifully. I have to tone down the language a bit because this goes out at lunchtime. He said that the Irish government should write a letter to Europe and tell them politely to off with themselves, which shows the kind of customer care we've come to love from Ryanair. I'm not...
I can go into the numbers, incidentally, that you mentioned. So just so you know, the standard rate of Irish corporate tax is 12.5%. Apple paid around 0.005% in 2014. That is the equivalent of just £50 tax on every £1 million earned.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
That's terrible. Can you give me the number for their accountant?
Des, look, I have an iPhone, so I'm just as guilty as the rest of us, OK? But on average, every iPhone sold in the European Union makes £250 profit. That is after all the costs, £250 profit for Apple. In the last 5 years, Apple made €53 billion just on the sale of iPhones, just in Europe.
I mean, I did the free festival this year, which meant that I got paid through the bucket, which people just donated money at the end of each show. And I had to count, and quite rightly so, every single penny that came through my bucket to make sure that I wasn't going to screw my tax, and I don't. It should be a law for one and a law for everyone. That's the way society should be. And if I pay my tax, I fully expect everybody else to pay their tax, but they don't. And that is just how the world is. So let's cancel this show right now and start revolting.
Have I to lead? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Right, I'll throw my iPhone away in the bin. Right.
Scotland's already been leading the way against Apple for ages because we don't eat fruit, so we're all good.
Apple actually had an imaginary head office in Cork. They've got their main thing there, but they were taxing an imaginary head office. So they didn't actually have a head office there, but they called it the head office. And I'm having some building work done on my house. And I've had an office built and it's got an Apple Mac in it, so I asked my builder to give me a discount, and he told me to do what Michael O'Leary suggested.
Apple's taxing times in Ireland is correct. You get a point. What was the other story we were after?
Oh, it's Brexit, isn't it? Because eventually, after, 2 months since the referendum, Theresa May has realised that you can't keep standing there saying Brexit means Brexit. Brexit means Brexit. That's all she said for 2 months.
Theresa May says the UK must focus on the opportunities and offer outside the EU, as she reiterated there would be no second referendum on Brexit. And yes, indeed, she did have the meeting around the table with Boris Johnson, Liam Fox and David Davis.
The government are terrified of triggering Article 50. In fact, half of them think it'd be better to trigger Trident than it would be to trigger Article 50.
And the talk of Article 50 is that it's not going to happen this year, it's going to happen next year. Alex, talk us through this. What's going on?
Theresa May sits there and says Brexit means Brexit, and she does that to give herself some political coverage. In other words, both sides of her party cannot really blame her at the moment. She does it then to create a wee bit of space so that Liam Fox, David Davis and Boris Johnson get the blame for whatever happens. Her figure is that if she can hang on long enough, something else will have come along to kind of give her a way out.
I think that basically she did that thing that we have all done. You know, when you've been in a meeting or somebody said to you, Mon will sit down and discuss that film Bridge of Spies. And you hadn't watched it, but you pretended you did because you wanted to be in with the cool kids. And then you're like, yeah, I hated that bit when the guy came in with that thing. And you're like, what's that about? You don't know what you're talking about. But you'll pad it out and pad it out and pad it out till everybody thinks you know what you're talking about. And everybody around the table's gone, yeah, that was a cracking. It was like when everybody spoke about Breaking Bad, I hadn't watched it. And everybody was talking about it, but I pretended I had. And I'm like, yeah, because I like a caravan and drugs and that, right?
It's like she's in a massive game of bluff, isn't it? It's just like a massive game of bluff. She's pretending she wants to trigger Article 50 really soon when she doesn't want to do it at all. And she's secretly hoping if she can hold out for long enough, the EU might fall apart, Trump might get in, and she won't have to do anything at all because we'll all be too busy trying to work out which relative we're going to eat first.
She was talking about, she also said that, you know, the whole big thing is that she wants a sensible and orderly exit from Europe. And we're British. Doesn't matter if we're English or Scottish, we've never left Europe in an orderly and sensible fashion, have we? Most of us have left on an EasyJet flight, 3 sheets to the wind, going, I never liked it anyway, let's go home.
Apple tax and Theresa May's return to sort out the Brexit strategy is correct. And at the end of that round, the teams are all square. This round is all about who's in the news. I will offer you a clue or two and you just tell me who we're talking about. Jay and Alistair, you get first go this time. Who are we talking about and why are they in the news? Here's the first clue. It's a tweet that was sent about the person this week.
Man, can you imagine the people this morning crying about going to do it and then they walk in and see her?
Mary Berry?
It's not Mary Berry. Let's hear from the person themselves.
this is actually Taylor Swift, because she did jury service, which is up there with Britney Spears getting a parking permit or Miley Cyrus going to a PTA meeting. I'm not really on this. I thought twerk was where people from Liverpool went Monday to Friday. So that's a joke. Scousers with jobs. That's ridiculous.
Taylor Swift is the right answer, and yes, it was her appearance in a court in Nashville in Tennessee. She missed the Video Music Awards for MTV to take part in jury duty. What do we think about this, Jay?
Well, a lot of people are saying, you know, was it a PR stunt? And I don't think it was a PR stunt, because I think if she had actually been chosen for jury duty, Kanye West would have burst in and insisted that Beyonce got the gig first.
I think it's brilliant because afterwards she could have listened to the whole court case, then wrote a song about it. He was at her with an axe and then he rode away on a horse. That's it. The case was about a man that attacked somebody with an axe and ran away on a horse. It's Nashville, that could have happened.
Is it setting a good example doing the jury duty? Is it a PR stunt?
No, it's great. Everyone should do jury duty. There's a possibility you get someone banged away for life.
That is really the way to go into jury duty.
There's no point doing jury duty if you're not going to up the stakes, is there?
Can I ask you, Alex, have you ever been selected for jury duty?
Never.
I thought not.
And now you never will be. Clever move.
I think the jury duty thing is weird because sometimes you go through such a process and then it's really weird because when you first go, you're like, oh, I really want to be picked because I want to get in about it. And then you get there and then you don't get picked. Then you take it really personal. You're like, what do you mean? I'm not even judgy. I could have been on that. And then you get really distraught because you've not get... Like that time I went to a sauna and I found it was a different kind of sauna and still nobody picked me. Sitting there like that.
All right, Alex and Janie, it's your turn now. Who is this person and why are they in the news? First up, here's a tweet sent about them.
How could anyone get cross with him? He's a national treasure.
Is it Jeremy Paxman? Was Jeremy Paxman having a big go at being called old?
Absolutely correct, Janie. Yes, Jeremy Paxman has been accused of insulting millions of people after he branded pensioners virtual corpses.
That's right.
Riddled with incontinence and idiocy.
No, but Des, come on, let's be fair. What he was actually saying was he'd seen this newspaper, which is called The Mature Times.
Yeah.
He's a 66-year-old, and he was saying, oh, away with your endless patronising guff towards old people. You know, we're not all incontinent, smelly creatures. We are just human beings who happen to be a bit older. I say, stand up for Jeremy Paxman. I obviously can't stand up myself. My knees have gone.
No.
I totally agree. I think he was annoyed for the right reasons. The response from the magazine was pretty funny. They were pretty annoyed that he'd called them out on this. And I mean, it wasn't like he pushed Bruce Forsyth down the stairs. Do you know what I mean? He just did a pop back at them for this nonsense.
When you start pushing Brucey down the stairs, though, it's difficult because you don't know what stair to begin for.
No.
Is it higher or lower? Is it higher? Can I just say, I have to respond on behalf of The Mature Times. Its publisher, Andrew Silk, has hit back by claiming Paxman was clearly in denial about his age and likened him to Jeremy Clarkson, but without the charisma.
Imagine. But it is, we're all getting older. I mean, I'm wearing glasses for the first time ever because I had that moment a few months ago where I tried to read a reference number to someone on the other end of my phone, and couldn't get the phone close enough to read the reference number whilst they could still hear me the further away I went. And I found myself standing in the middle of the street playing old man's blind phone trombone. And you know, these things happen.
In Scotland, as soon as your 50th birthday, and the audience will know this, but the first thing you get is a special card for the NHS where you have to scrape a bit of poo on it and send it in the post. It's the first time you get to send your jobbies through the post. On your 50th birthday, before you get a card from anyone, comes through this card, and it's like the worst scratch and sniff thing you've ever done. And you have to open wee windows I'm not joking, and everybody should do it because bowel cancer is on the increase in Scotland, so it's incredibly important that you do it. But you have to open all these wee windows and straight. And you're like, I don't want to be 50. I've changed my mind. Why? Sitting there like that.
Jeremy Paxman ranting is the correct answer. 2 points go to Alex and Janie. You are tuned to a very lively episode of Breaking the News on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, so much of the news is about public reaction and opinion, so we've gone out and found some people to comment on that news. This week, we spoke to Glasgow florists Joanne and June. I will play their reactions, but what is the story that they're talking about? Alex and Janie, you're up first. What are the ladies on about here?
I think it's fine. They're not human beings, but they're living things and they do understand.
The only difference is they can't answer you back.
A bowl of water, I think, is allowed to be in. Biscuits, anything other than that's far too far.
It sounded like they were talking about animals of some sort.
It is animals, specifically dogs.
This is the research, is it?
Yeah.
That dogs can apparently understand not just the tone of voice, but actual words.
I had an aunt who had a dog in Shettleston, and she used to put money in its collar and it would go pay the Minogue and Castlemilk and go on 2 buses. And it got on the 62, then the 46 bus, and then it would get off, go up the Mitchell Hill Flats, pay it, come back home, and it had money in its collar. It should have been called PayPal, but nobody knew what that was then.
Academics in Hungary claim to have proven that dogs can understand human speech. Brain scans have discovered evidence that dogs process language in a similar way to humans and are only truly happy if a praising tone of voice is matched by the actual words spoken.
They responded to pleasurable sensations like being petted, having sex and being given nice food. That's not dogs, that's blokes.
Do we think, though, maybe we pamper our dogs and our pets a bit too much now?
Yeah, definitely. Dogs don't need a ribbon. They don't need their teeth brushed. They don't need special worming biscuits. My dog lived for 19 years and he used to eat stuff out of bins and chewed stones, ran for miles, never brushed his teeth. He got really old, got a milky eye, a wee grey bird, and then we didn't actually get dogs put down then because it cost too much. What we'd do is take it up to the police office and say, I found a dog.
Yeah, I bet it caught the bus home afterwards, though.
No, the policeman used to say, yeah, you did find a dog about 19 years ago.
Jane, Alistair, what story are our flower girls on about here?
A lot of them bring a lot of the grief on themselves.
It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't work both ways with them. I don't think there'd be more money put into it.
I've done it. Your legs get really sore.
Some sort of road rage thing. Wasn't Jeremy Vine, was it, this week?
Do you know what? It is road rage, and it is involving Jeremy Vine.
He had a camera, I think, on his helmet, and he was going down a road with a car behind him, and they were beeping, OK, maybe unfairly, and he was going, you have to be 1 car's length behind. Excuse me, it says on the sign, and I was watching this going, I don't think she's right to get out and threaten to kill him, but I do know where she's coming from. And then she apparently did the sign of a gun, at which point he was the most English I've ever heard. He went, wow, a gun. That's so not appropriate.
I think it's not that cyclists have a problem with drivers or drivers have a problem with cyclists. It's they both have problems with idiots. I think we should just join forces and fight the common enemy of idiots on the road.
I've kicked a cyclist. Outside my house on the Great Western Road, I get 20 to 30 cyclists a day go past my front door at speed.
So this is on the pavement,
Oh,
rather
this is
than
the
road.
pavement, yeah, for sure. And as soon as I open, I'm the only person I know who opens the front door and has to look left, look right before I step out because I get hit by a pavement cyclist every day and I videotape them. You can see them on my Facebook and stuff. And what I do now is whenever I go out my front door, I go out, I've got a pole in the close and I stick it out so that I know that I'll be safe. And then I come out And then if somebody's been hit with the pole, I help them up because I'm not horrible.
Alex Bell, where do you stand? Cyclist, motorist, where are you in this?
I like to stand just behind Janie Godley.
2 points go to Jay and Alistair. And time now as we press ahead with our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready on the buzzers, teams. When we run out of time, you will hear this.
It's been a tremendous honour, and I call you a friend.
That was Donald Trump there reaching out to Janie Godley. Let's go. Fingers on buzzers. 9% of us no longer carry what?
Guilt about Jesus.
I can give you the right answer. 9% of us no longer carry loose change. 1 in 5 what axed in the last decade?
Trees.
I can tell you the answer is 1 in 5 bus routes in Scotland have been axed in the last decade. What in Scotland is up 600% on last year?
Umbrellas.
Oh, brilliant. What in Scotland is up 600% on last year?
Jim Murphy's spare time.
It's been a tremendous honour, and I call you a friend.
You heard the klaxon. That means Donald has trumped. It's all over. And the end of our quiz has come. And the winners this week are, it's Janie Godley and Alex Bell. And the commiserations go to Jay Lafferty and Alistair Barry. And we'll leave you with the breaking news. Breaking news just in. Gordon Brown is becoming notorious for his last-minute interventions into matters of national importance. First there was the referendum, then Brexit, and next up it's whether Mary Berry is right about deep-fat fryers. And when he arrived in Mexico, Mr. Trump greeted the Mexican president with foreign words in his native language. Tienes el número de un albañil, which literally translates as, have you got a number for a bricklayer? The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye!
You might like to know that Janie Godley's debut novel, Nothing Left Unsaid, is available from all good bookshops this coming Thursday, at the time when this video was published, which was on a Tuesday.